Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're going to tackle a massive challenge in the world of AI. How do you take one of those giant supercomputer-level models and cram it onto something that fits in your pocket, like your phone? Well, the secret is this really cool technique called knowledge distillation.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest question in AI right now. We've got these incredible, super powerful models that cost an absolute fortune to run. So, how do we get that same brain power into the apps we actually use every day without breaking the bank? How do you get that supercomputer brain on a smartphone budget?
Okay, so the answer really comes down to a story of two different models. Think of it like this. On one hand, you've got the giant teacher model, like a genius professor with all the answers. And on the other hand, you have this smaller, much more nimble student model who's just eager to learn.
And when you put them side by side, you see the massive business reality here. The teacher model, we're talking sky-high costs, slow responses. It's pretty much trapped in a giant data center. But the student model? It's a completely different story. It can slash costs by over 90%, respond in milliseconds, and you can deploy it literally anywhere. You get full control. The gap here isn't just big, it's absolutely enormous.
So, how in the world do we bridge that gap? Well, the secret is a process that actually sounds kind of old school, almost like it's from an old workshop. It's called the art of distillation. The core idea here is actually pretty simple, and it's really elegant. Instead of making the student model read a whole library of books from scratch, it gets a private tutor, that big teacher model. And the teacher doesn't just hand over the answers. Nope. It transfers its knowledge, its unique style, and even its whole way of thinking. It's like a full-on mentorship. And this is where it gets really important for the real world. Knowledge distillation isn't just some clever academic trick. Not at all. It is the essential bridge that connects those top-tier AI capabilities with actual, practical business use. It's the thing that makes the most powerful AI in the world actually usable for the rest of us.
Okay, so how does this teaching process actually work? Well, there are three main ways to do it, and each one goes a little deeper into the teacher's mind, so to speak. Let's break down the playbook. All right, first up, we've got data distillation. This is the most straightforward way. Basically, you feed the teacher a bunch of questions, it gives you back perfect answers, and then you use those question and answer pairs to train the student. Think of it like studying from a perfect answer key. It's super fast, it's the most accessible method, it even works with most commercial APIs. But you gotta know, it's also the shallowest way to learn.
Next up, things get a little more interesting with logits distillation. So this doesn't just teach the student that A is the right answer. It goes deeper. It teaches the student that the teacher was saying 90% sure the answer was A, but it also considered B with about 8% confidence. So the student is learning the why behind the answer, the probabilities. This gives you this fantastic balance. The student picks up on nuance and becomes way more robust without getting crazy complicated.
And finally, we have the deepest, most profound method of all, feature distillation. Now here, the student is literally mimicking the teacher's internal brain activity. It's learning how the teacher represents ideas deep down inside its neural network. It's basically learning the teacher's entire worldview. As you can imagine, this is by far the most powerful method, but it's also the most complex. It requires you to have deep, full access to the teacher model.
All right, theory is great, but let's see this stuff in action. We're going to watch a generalist student model go through a full-on training montage and transform into a specialist medical AI, right here, right now.
So, here's our game plan. Step 1, we get a top-notch medical dataset from our teacher model. Step 2, we use a really efficient fine-tuning method called QLoRa. It's just a clever way to teach a big model new things without needing a supercomputer. Step 3, we're going to supercharge the training with a special tool. And finally, step 4, we put our new specialist to the test.
Now that training step, it's powered by a secret weapon, and it's called Unsloth. This library is a total game changer. Why? Because with just 2 lines of code, I'm serious, just 2 lines, it makes training twice as fast and uses 70% less memory. And here's why that's so crucial. It means creating these specialist models is no longer just for companies with giant data centers. This makes it possible for pretty much anyone with accessible, affordable hardware. So, after all that, after distilling all that knowledge from a giant AI and fine-tuning our student with that supercharged tool, what's the result? Well, a specialist is born. Let's see the transformation.
Okay, here's our test case. And it's a pretty classic modern-day problem, right? A 28-year-old programmer, pulling long nights, is feeling dizzy and nauseous. Now, this could be anything from simple burnout to something way more serious. Let's see how our 2 models handle this.
Okay, first up, here's the response from our student model before any of the specialist training. And yeah, it's generic, it's totally unhelpful. It's basically the AI version of saying, go see a doctor. There's absolutely no real expert insight here at all.
And now, look at this. This is the response from our newly trained specialist. The difference is just night and day. It actually starts with a thought process. See that think block? It's laying out its reasoning for you. And then it gives a structured differential diagnosis, suggesting specific paths to explore. This isn't just a simple answer anymore. This is like getting an expert consultation.
So, if there's one single thing you take away from all this, it should be this. The quality of your data is way more important than the number of parameters in your model. Having high-quality distilled data from a great teacher model matters more than anything else. A small, well-taught student can absolutely outperform a lazy giant.
And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Now that you know the secret, now you know how to create these affordable, high-performance specialist AIs, what kind of expert would you create? A legal advisor? A financial analyst? Maybe a personalized coding tutor? The possibilities are truly closer than they have ever been before.